All right, everyone, welcome back into another props video. Give me touching on the top prop bets, mostly in NBA today on both PrizePicks and Underdog. Let's go ahead and get into it. So I do just want to start real quickly with the best EV bets that we are currently getting really across the sports. If we're looking at college basketball, we got one for under assists. The projection data also agrees. So Jordan Pope for under 3.5 assists. That one has about a 54% chance to hit. Really like those odds there. We jump into Underdog, and we have two really good ones here, guys. 54.26% chance for the under to hit for rebounds here. That is a pretty darn good bet. The only issue, I guess, was that the projection data also agrees that the line should be at 5.5. All in all, we're okay with that. And then CJ McCollum for over 8.5 rebounds and assists. This one hasn't been bumped just yet. Underdog is typically a little bit slower, so we got some good stuff there. And then just taking a peek at the EV only bets that we are getting currently on PrizePicks as well, guys. We are getting some very big edges there. We got Kane for over 3 shots on goal. We can see the projection data has us at 3.8. That's a very good prop bet. We got Evan for over 0.5 assists. Another good EV bet that we are currently getting. Saquon Barkley over 3.5 receptions. Another good EV bet that we are getting. We got some interesting kicking points props. Again, 54% likelihood for these ones to hit. And then we got some more for tackles and assists. Like, we are getting some of the best EV bets that we have gotten in some time here. So right now, the issue is not do we have EV bets, it's which EV bets do we want to bet on for those other sports. But all in all, let's go ahead and break down the NBA slate that we have today. I just want to start with that so you guys can benefit from it right away. And I don't think that a lot of those props are going to update by the time this video is an hour into its life or 2 hours into its life. Typically, if I think a prop that's going to get bumped, I won't mention. But looking at right now, guys, we do have a decent size slate for NBA today. Let's go ahead and start out with the first game. We got the Celtics versus the Pistons, a very big point spread. 17 points, 230 for the over and under. If you're looking at it, we're going to notice that the Pistons are going to be without Isaiah Stewart. So I mentioned in the last video, it's like, don't be surprised if the Pistons actually play well in this game. They end up losing, but that's because they were fully healthy, guys. Now you got Isaiah Stewart out. Who knows? Hayes could potentially be out. Thompson could be out as well. If Hayes sits, I think we're looking at Jaden Ivey to actually have a good game. He would make sense to get minutes regardless of if this game is close or not. And then for Thompson, if he is out with Isaiah Stewart out, it is a little bit of a toss-up as to who would get the minutes. And to me, that I don't think anyone's going to benefit specifically if both those two players are out. I will say again, though, Ivey, if Hayes is out, is going to be a good option. And yeah, just looking at Ivey a little bit further, guys, if he should get run regardless of if this game is a blowout or not. We have seen that, and I'm very curious as to if we're going to get any props on him, because to me, I feel like that leaves them a little bit too open to people kind of hammering home some bets, because again, if Hayes is out, Ivey's probably going to get the start, but he would still get the blowout run. So I do think that there is something there. Oh, for what it's worth, guys, as well, NBA wise, just pulling up that sheet, Michael Porter Jr. for over 27 for points, rebounds, and assists. That's a good prop bet. KCP for over points and assists. That's also a good prop bet there. So yeah, we got some good lines this morning, which is nice. But let's go and take a peek at Detroit. So for Detroit, yeah, as expected, we're not going to get that many good prop bets for this team just yet. I will say, this is definitely interesting, I would say, for Bogdanovic. He is someone that I'm not saying he's going to be the reason why they keep it close, but all in all, this is the NBA. The Nets were without all their starters yesterday, which was very tilting prop betting wise for anyone that was on Cam Thomas. There was a little bit of a live betting market on Underdog for the Nets. Basically, if you guys didn't catch it, the Brooklyn Nets didn't have most of their starters, and then they chose to sit Mikal Bridges and Cam Thomas for most of the game yesterday and kept it close against Milwaukee. But yeah, when we look at Bogdanovic, I do think he's going to get kind of the minutes regardless. It's just how many more minutes does he get. This game is a good example against Milwaukee last game, 31 minutes. Another good example against Philly, 26 minutes. It's more a matter of when does the blowout occur? Does it occur in the fourth quarter? Does it occur throughout the whole game in the first quarter? That will really depend or make the difference of whether or not his prop line's cash or not. But all in all, I would say the 23.5 is a very good line, I would say. I would be fine betting the over. This is going to be a better bet, though, on DraftKings or FanDuel, one of those sports books. Again, you don't want to chase bets like these typically on PrizePicks and Underdog, because the percent odds likelihood that's not going to be a good thing for you in the long term. I think an example of that was yesterday, we weren't getting that many good EV bets, so it kind of felt like, for me, I was forcing some bets until the fantasy score props came out, and then that was pretty nice. Let's go and take a peek at the Boston Celtics, seeing if we're getting any good prop bets for them. And so looking at Boston right now, we are only getting Tatum props. I'm imagining that's because this game does have the potential to be a blowout, and it makes sense. I could also see, with this high spread, that some of the players for Boston maybe potentially sit. And by that, I mean like either Porzingis, who had been someone that was a little bit banged up. You also have Tatum that's a little bit banged up. Horford could potentially sit. You never know for sure. I would say Derek White is probably the player that we can most trust his minutes to be there. I'm not saying he's going to get an insane amount more run than like Tatum or Brown or whatnot if the game is a blowout, but I do think he's going to get around 30 minutes. We can kind of bank on that. All in all, I don't think we want to be jamming in any players from that game just due to the volatility of it. Moving on to the next game, we got the Pacers versus the Bulls. One of the more interesting games, I would say, on the slate. 1 point spread, 1.5 point spread or so. 240, 241 for the over and under. Looking at the injury report, we know that the Pacers are going to be without Bruce Brown. Okay, we know also that Buddy Hield is the player that gets the biggest minutes bump. Now, Andrew Nembhard was extreme chalk in DFS on the previous slate, and we'll see kind of what our thoughts are on him in a second here because it was kind of weird. Looking at the Bulls, they are banged up. Okay, Zach LaVine's out and Nikola Vucevic is out, and we are getting some very high prop lines for the Pacers, for the Bulls for two reasons: because they're going against the Pacers and because those two players are out. And so we go ahead and start out with Indiana, and I would say that the lines that we are getting for Indiana are going to be correct. To me, the one player that I want to get on more would actually be Buddy Hield, but we're just not getting any props for him. Like, he shot the ball as much as we would have thought. Like, he continued to shoot the ball around 15 times, 3 for 11 from three. If he's getting 11 3-ball attempts up, you probably expect him to make one more in that game. All in all, I would say this is very close to what we would expect, just for him to make a couple more buckets here or there. But all in all, the props that we're getting for the Pacers are probably all props that we don't need to touch. Like Miles Turner, we can see on Underdog 17.5 is okay. The average sportsbook line has the line set at 17.8 for points and assists, where PrizePicks has since bumped it because of that. There's tiny middling opportunity. All in all, I don't feel like we need to touch that. I think the players that we probably want to be on the most are going to be Chicago Bulls, but again, because of the high paced up spot, a lot of their props are bumped up. So like DeMar DeRozan at 27 points is kind of bumped up. We can see at 26.5, that's another good, better bet that we are getting on Underdog. And for what it's worth, I do feel the need to mention this, guys. Like, with Vucevic off the court, and we're probably not going to get any props for him, but it is Andre Drummond. Like, that was just a no-brainer that Andre Drummond would get more run. The question with him was, how many minutes would he get? He ended up getting 38 minutes. That was a little bit shocking. I would have put that at like 25, but no. They ran him out. He had 25 rebounds, 24 points. I don't want to say that was expected by any means, but all in all, we have seen that from him. He has been a high point per minute producer. So I don't want to say that we're expecting 24 points, 24 rebounds, but I am expecting him to have a pretty darn good game. You look at his per 36 production, averages 18.1 points, 20 rebounds with Vucevic off the court. And so all in all, it's not too surprising. He does also average 2.9 steals, 1.3 blocks per 36 with him off the court as well. So all in all, I do kind of hope we get some prop bets on Andre Drummond because I don't know if they're going to be properly valued for him. From there, I will just talk about DeMar DeRozan. The points prop is, it's the correct line, I would say, in this pace-up spot. Actually, Atlanta's like the perfect example of kind of this matchup with the Pacers. To me, those are two similar teams that when another team plays them, it's a little bit of a pace-up spot. You can expect the other team to get more run. We saw DeMar DeRozan. He actually got off to a slow start, ended up with 25 points in that game. If you look at his per 36 production, he does average 27 points per 36. And so really you expect him to make a couple more buckets in that game. He did get to his point total over in that game because he got some late free throws where they were just fouling him. So I thought that was noteworthy. But all in all, we're just expecting him to get a few more shot attempts up, about 5.5 more shot attempts per game. And then I do want to mention Kobe White as well. Kobe White does get about 5 more shot attempts up as well. He just has not shot the basketball well. Again, like you would expect that to be corrected soon. 0 for 8 from 3 2 games ago, and then 0 for 7 from 3. I personally think we probably should be looking at him. Like if you give him, 2 for 7, which still isn't the best night shooting, you give him 6 more points. That's 10, 35 points, rebounds, and assists. Then we're looking pretty good there, right? So it's definitely interesting. It's up to you guys whether or not you want to take the overs on him. I would say the points that we're getting on DeMar DeRozan, I don't mind. Points and rebounds, it's okay. Kobe White, points, rebounds, and assists. I personally think I do like the over on Underdog there at 35.5. To me, that's a good bet where it's a 1 point difference on PrizePicks, I think that might be a little bit too thin. But all in all, I do think we're getting some good prop lines there. And I do just want to mention Alex Caruso as well, guys. Alex Caruso, we can see his points, rebounds, and assists is set at 20.5. And he is someone where if you look at his per 36 production, again, with those players off the court, we haven't seen too much of him or as much, but I do think we're expecting him to get run. He averages 13 points per 36, 4.7 rebounds, and then 4.9 assists. So just with that data, those data points alone, if he does get 26 minutes, I do think he gets the over, especially in this matchup. The issue is that we don't know how many minutes he's going to get. Like, he still had a good game last game, even while shooting the basketball terribly, right? Again, he's someone that you would expect to shoot the basketball a little bit better in this game. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and jump into the next game. We got the Jazz versus the Pelicans, about an 8.5 point spread there, so a little bit of a blowout potential there. 240 is going to be the over and under, so another decently high scoring game. Looking at it, both teams are going to be healthy, so we do have that going for us. Let's go ahead and take a peek at the props that we're getting. So yes, Utah is seemingly going to be healthy, guys, and really for me, with Utah being healthy enough, we haven't seen this really for most of the season. And so I actually don't know what we want to do here. Sorry. I would say Lauri Markkanen at 33.5 points, rebounds, and assists in this very high scoring game is intriguing to me. Now, it's not the best matchup, but if he gets 36 minutes in this game or so instead of the 31, I expect him to have a good game. But all in all, like, that line to me seems very low. And I do think it's partially due to the fact that they're going to be fully healthy. And again, it's not the best matchup, but all in all, I don't know. This one to me kind of seems like one that we would want to be targeting. 33.5 does not seem that much. To me, that's something he can get just on points alone. We can see his point total is set at 24.5. So yeah, all in all, like, his average points is 24, don't get me wrong, but lately he has been playing better. And honestly, maybe that's just due to them starting to get healthier. Part of the reason, getting healthier is Keontae George, Horn Tucker's back. You got Colin Sexton back. Jordan Clarkson's back as well. Jordan Clarkson, we have no idea how many minutes he's going to play. I will say maybe there's a little bit of a game stacking opportunity. Jordan Clarkson fouled out in that last game. That is not something that typically happens. He did have a great game, though. 8 assists, 6 rebounds, 24 points. So maybe it's just being too aggressive. But all in all, like, if we're looking at 2 players for Utah, those are going to be the 2 players that we're looking at Lauri Markkanen, Jordan Clarkson. And then from there, we go ahead and get into the Pelicans. So the Pelicans are certainly interesting today. J-Val has been someone that has been playing decently well. We can already see we were getting a small prop line difference here. So at 28.5 for points, rebounds, and assists on Underdog, I think that's a good prop bet. At 29, it's still okay, but not one that we typically want to chase. So I do like the fact that on Underdog right now, we are getting some small edges over PrizePicks. So to me, the early lean is going to be that we want to be playing on Underdog a little bit more, at least in the morning. The nice thing about PrizePicks is they typically come out with the fantasy score much earlier than Underdog, so you can typically gain a bigger edge there. Looking at it right now, guys, J-Val, yeah, he has been kind of crushed. And so if the game stays close enough for long enough to the point where he can get us 30 minutes, I like his over. And so I think this is a great example. In the first game against Utah, only 26 minutes in that game, didn't do much. In the next game against Utah, played 30 minutes, got us over pretty easily there. So it's weird. He has been playing more minutes recently. It's like with this team being fully healthy, J-Val's kind of been a bigger stud with them, with Ingram, with McCollum, and with Zion back. Actually, J-Val's been a more consistent producer. So, 28.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I'm fine with that. And from there, I just don't see any good prop bets that we're getting. Like, with everyone healthy, I don't think we want to be touching Herbert Jones on a nightly basis. That's going to be the same kind of for all the other players. It's kind of like the Clippers. With everyone healthy, you don't really want to touch any of them. So let's go ahead and move on into the next game here, guys. So the next game, we got the Mavericks versus the Timberwolves, a 9.5 point spread. So another game that has the potential to be a blowout. Not the highest over and under, 228.5. So looking at it, Kyrie Irving, a game time decision. If he sits, we're looking at Luka Doncic to continue to just play well, and he's really the only one that we want to be looking at there. For the Timberwolves, if we get news that Karl Anthony Towns is potentially out, we're going to be looking at Rudy Gobert to have a really good game. This is the exact same situation as yesterday with Jared Allen, guys. I mentioned when the props are made available, please attack Jared Allen. So yeah, here's what it is, guys. He just crushed against Dallas. Like, this was a very kind of, I don't want to say good, easy prop bet, but it kind of felt like a good, easy prop bet, even with the Cavs as banged up as they were. So I'm just pointing this out because if we get news that Towns is out, Rudy Gobert, I don't want to say he's going to put up 60 for a fantasy score, but he should be able to get over his fantasy score in the matchup against Dallas. Now, to me, the game line would suggest that maybe Towns sits. And all in all, like, yeah, I do think we'd want to be looking at Rudy Gobert, probably specifically for fantasy score, just simply because he's someone that can get a lot of blocks and steals. And so, yeah, it makes sense why we are only getting Karl Anthony Towns props, because if he sits, Anthony Edwards gets a big bump in his usage. And then again, we're looking at Rudy Gobert to have a really good game. So it makes sense why we're getting Karl Anthony Towns props only for that. I don't want to touch him. Okay, I think if he's active, there's probably not going to be that many prop bets that we want to go in on. Luka Doncic, let's just touch on this because Luka has been kind of going off. And so yesterday was a weird game against the Cavs where they had all their backups, but he still crushed. And so the question is, what do we do with Luka now? Because he continues to crush. This is a very high line as well, but we can see, guys, 29 shot attempts, and that continues to happen. So I think if Kyrie is still off the court, maybe we're just looking at a points total for Luka, 37.5. That is so high, right? But if he's going to get us 25 plus shot attempts while also getting to the free throw line about 10 times, I mean, that is crazy. Like, I do think we could continue to see this, but all in all, that I don't know, that's a crazy high point total. And we can see the data basically as a 50-50. All in all, there's no prop bets that I feel like we really need to go in on for this game. So let's go ahead and move on into the next game. We got the Grizz versus the Nuggets, 7.5 point spread, 225 or so for the over and under. We already saw that we are getting some good prop bets in this game. For Memphis, we need to get news on Ja Morant. If he sits, we're probably just looking at Marcus Smart to have a good game, who is finally off the injury report. Derrick Rose is out. Luke Kennard is still out. So, yeah, I do think it'd probably be Marcus Smart that we are looking at to have a good game. Looking at the Denver Nuggets, Aaron Gordon ruled out. And so that is why we were getting those good prop bets for Michael Porter Jr. And so, again, Underdog has now bumped this up to 27. That is still a good bet that we are getting, guys. This is literally the Melton stuff from yesterday. Although not as much of a discount, I was still shocked at how yesterday for him. But guys, this does seem to be like the exact same situation. So sure, with Aaron Gordon off the court, he doesn't get the biggest minutes bumps, but it all goes to the backup. So to me, it goes, in terms of starters, it goes Jokic and then Porter. So yes, I do expect a big minutes bump for Michael Porter Jr. And so we can see right now projected to get 34 minutes. I would argue he's probably going to get more than that, but we can see if he does get 34 minutes, the data does like him to get this over. And personally, I do as well, guys. This is a good matchup. This is a matchup where if he continues to get 30 plus minutes, 34 minutes or so, I don't think the data has caught up enough, especially with Michael Porter Jr. off the court. With Michael Porter Jr. off the court, with Aaron Gordon off the court, Michael Porter Jr. averages 20.7 points, 10 rebounds, and 2.8 assists. I mean, so that's crazy. So just on points and rebounds, he should be able to get the over. And that kind of leads me to wonder, what's his points and rebounds at? 27.5, so also a good one. So if this points and assist prop continues to get bumped, by all means, you should feel comfortable going to the points and rebounds. Now, that being said, we are getting some good prop lines on someone like, man, the points, and this is actually crazy. Points and assists for Michael Porter Jr., again, averages 20 points per 36 with Aaron Gordon off the court, and then 2.8 assists. So, yeah, we're getting some good lines on Michael Porter Jr. Let's just put it that way. Maybe be on the lookout for fantasy score. But, yeah, KCP. Let's take a peek at KCP, guys. So, at 11.5, we can see the average sportsbook line actually has this set at 12.5. Again, that is probably closer to being correct. The issue with KCP is he's not going to get the biggest bump in his usage with Aaron Gordon off the court, but the minutes have been heavy for him lately. We like that. Again, if this game stays close enough for long enough, he probably will have a good game. So what he averages per 36 with Aaron Gordon off the court is 15 points, 1.9 rebounds, and 3.6 assists. So really, if you're betting on him, like, this is actually a good prop bet. Again, his per 36 production would suggest that he should be able to get 15 points. Like, this is already too low with Aaron Gordon off the court. So just on points, you could be able to get the over attack on 3.6 assists, and we are sitting pretty there. All right, so we have a few more games left here. We got Miami versus Golden State, 3-point spread, 228.5 is going to be the over and under for this game. To me, the player that I want to get on the most is probably Pods. I don't know if we're going to get any good prop bets for him. He has been someone that has been playing extremely well. We are seeing Clay. Again, a very good line for Klay Thompson. To me, I'm trying to fire up a lot of prop bets literally on my phone right now to get to Clay on Underdog. There's just so many good lines on Underdog right now that, yeah, I'm literally doing that as I'm recording this video. That's the tough part about content creation and giving out prop bets. But yeah, 23.5, guys, that is simply too low. We have seen him, being extremely productive lately. And I do think that that's a prop that we want to be looking at. And I'll touch on it in a second. And so, yeah, Clay has been playing a decent amount of minutes because he has been playing well. This game against Miami is certainly interesting. We can see the shot attempts have been there. Like, finally had a cold night against Denver. Think it as many shot attempts up as you would want. 3 for 12, terrible night. 3 for 10, not good. And I would argue he's definitely due for that. And he also was coming in off of like some really kind of easy matchups for him. Like, the only difficult one was Boston, which he played well. But all in all, I think that's just a one-off game. Like, sure, the matchup with Miami, we're not happy to be chasing. But all in all, like, we get 10 3-ball attempts up. If he literally just makes 3, that's 9 points there. Then if you can add a few more 2-ball attempts and whatnot, like we're happy to take this over here. From there, yeah, we're seeing Curry for under rebounds and assists. I don't know if we need to go in on that. Again, the player that I'm most interested in is Pods, because he's been getting heavy minutes, and like DFS wise, we can see the pricing hasn't like increased enough. And so that tells me that the prop lines that we're probably going to get on him won't have increased enough. And maybe someone like fantasy score wise, we could be looking at, just because of this, guys, the steal to block kind of ratio, and it's mostly just steals to turnovers, he's always outproducing that point total. Okay, and so that tells me that he should be a good fantasy score option. So pulling up Miami's injury report, Kyle Lowry game time decision, don't love that. Duncan Robinson game time decision, don't love that. They're just a lot of players that are game time decisions, and so for me, we're not going to get any prop bets for Miami except for Jimmy Butler probably right now. Oh no, they're actually giving us a decent amount of props. So actually no Jimmy Butler props, which maybe they're thinking that he sits. And then honestly, Tyler Hero over 33.5 points, rebounds, and assists might be an okay prop bet to go with in like a game stack. And Bam as well. I do expect Bam to have a good game, but 37.5 is pretty high. You know, Golden State doesn't really have a big that can defend. Someone like Bam, yeah, maybe a little bit of Tyler Hero. It is speculation though. We don't know who's going to be active in this game. And so I don't want to say like this is a great bet. I will say, you know, if all of these players from Miami are ruled out, Tyler Hero's usage rate is going to be insanely high, as is Jaime Jaquez. Like Jaquez is going to get forced into a lot of playing time. Like that to me is intriguing. Those two players would be the clear-cut best ones. That being said, Bam, you would expect to get, you know, probably 20 plus points and at least 10 rebounds as well. I don't know if that's enough for me to get there for his points, rebounds. All right, so we have two more games left here. We got the Spurs versus Trailblazers, 4-point spread, 235 for the over and under. Both teams are kind of in interesting spots. So Portland's going to be without Sharp and Aiden. We know that. You know, it's definitely noteworthy. And then the Spurs, they've been mixing up their starting lineup. So Keldon Johnson's coming in off the bench, as is Zach Collins. Tough to say what we should do with that. So we take a peek at some of the prop lines that we are getting for the Spurs. I really don't know what to do, guys. To me, I feel like it's just to stay away with them kind of mixing and matching their starting lineup lately. The issue that we're going to have is that this is a very good matchup for the Spurs going against Portland. Like, this is a matchup that we want to be targeting, like Devin Vassell. If he's going to get 18 shot attempts up, I think there is something interesting there. Like 28.5 points, rebounds, and assists to me seems to be too high. But maybe we want to be looking at points at 20.5. But again, this has a almost 52% likelihood for the under to hit there. So not something we feel comfortable with. We see Jeremy Sohan for 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists. That's also going to be a decent prop bet for us. He played actually the power forward in the last game. He's played a little point guard. He's played every position for them. All in all, I kind of like that line for him if he's going to be playing power forward. Had a very good night shooting, but all in all, if you're closer to the rim, that's going to help you out shooting wise. So not a terrible prop bet there for him. About a 52% chance for his over points, rebounds, and assists to hit. All in all, though, I don't really like the lines that we're getting there. Let's go ahead and move on into Portland. So yeah, with Portland being without Sharp and also Aiden tonight, you would imagine that Jeremy Grant getting over 4.5 rebounds would not be that difficult for him to hit. But you look at his per 36 production with those two off the court, only averages 3.6. So interesting there. And to me, I still think we're getting some pretty good lines on Simons. So yeah, looking at Simons, guys, the mids have been heavy, the shot attempts have been heavy. And again, if you look at the per 36 production, it's not like too crazy. Yeah, he averages 30 points per 36 with those two off the court, Aiden and Sharp. Usage rate is at 31%. So again, not shocking there. Doesn't average that many rebounds, doesn't average that many assists, but it's about 7 in total, rebounds and assists. But if you tack on that to around 30 points, his points, rebounds, and assists should be set at like 37. Today it's at 36.5. I would argue we could be betting the over in a good matchup, in a favorable matchup. The player that I'm most interested in, though, like intrigued by, is Malcolm Brogdon, because we know when Malcolm Brogdon gets the minutes, especially in a good matchup, he should be able to take advantage of it. He's been getting around 30 minutes or so, and if that continues to happen, I would say the lines that we were getting on him are too low. The issue is it's a gamble, it's a risk. We don't know how many minutes he's going to get. But all in all, I do think that this game is going to stay close. And if we can get Brogdon, again, with those two players out, getting around 34 minutes, I think he has a good chance to get over his rebounds, points, and assists. So to me, we have a little bit of a game stacking opportunity with these two specifically. To me, that's how I'd go about approaching this game, is stacking those two. And then we get into the last game on the slate. We got the Hornets versus Lakers, another game with a potential blowout. Lakers are 12.5 point favorites and a low scoring game, 227. So looking at the injuries, we kind of know why. Gordon Hayward's out, LaMelo Ball's still out. We know that. Brandon Miller, we don't know if he's going to play or not. Then you have Mark Williams, a game time decision. So I'm wondering PJ Washington, he's probably going to be someone I'm looking at. I don't think we're getting any prop bets for him. Lakers are doing the thing where they list everyone as a game time decision minus Gabe Vincent. Kind of feel bad for him. He's still banged up. He's actually going to be out for a while. So we take a peek at the Lakers. Yeah, we're getting some okay prop bets for the Lakers. All in all, we know with the Lakers, if the game stays close, LeBron and AD are going to get heavy minutes. This game is not projected to stay close. So all in all, I don't know if we really want to go in on either of them on this game. Looking at Charlotte, we are getting Terry Rozier props. Again, if the game stays close, it's going to be because Terry Rozier has a good game. Miles Bridges, I don't feel the need to go in on at his points, rebounds, and assists. Again, with this being a very lopsided game, to me, I don't really like the prop bets that we are getting in this game. Just walk you guys through it though. Like Terry Rozier, again, getting a lot of shot attempts up. And so if he has a good night shooting and keeps the game close enough for long enough, it wouldn't be shocking for him to get over that low points, rebounds, and assist line. Like, it's very low. He'd be the reason as to why. PJ Washington has been playing well, even on limited minutes. Very much carrying the second unit right now. But I don't know if we want to trust that. And then Miles Bridges, again, he's another player that, if you're betting on the game staying close or close enough for long enough, both him and both Miles Bridges and Terry Rozier, the lines that we're getting on them are simply too low for the amount of minutes and usage that they would have. So, if you guys are looking at that line saying, I don't know if it's going to be that crazy, you can bet the over there. All right, so looking at underdog here, guys. Again, we're taking the advantage of that good prop bet that we're getting from Michael Porter Jr. Again, there's going to be other ways to pivot if this line gets bumped like it did on PrizePicks. I'll show you guys that in a second. And then again, I like this one. We're getting a 1 point difference between PrizePicks and underdog. I would say this line is better if you guys don't want to chase the game because Kobe White has been shooting the basketball poorly. I get it. And we're taking advantage of the three really good EV bets that we are currently getting right now. These both have a 54% chance to hit. This one as well, but these ones are a little bit better for college basketball. So we have some pretty good lines there for underdog. Again, if you guys use the prop bets for underdog, you guys have never signed up before, make sure to sign up using the promo code 9to5. That's going to kick back some money my way. It is a way of helping out the channel as well, so I do appreciate that. And then looking at PrizePicks, today you guys don't have to run out a 6-slip bet. I mean, you never do, right? I'm just trying to show you guys the best prop bets that we currently have available on the day as it sits right now, as I'm giving out you guys the content. So for me, I do like the points and assists for Michael Porter Jr. I feel like that's too low. And then Caldwell Pope as well as 11.5. To me, those are too low given the expected production that they're going to have with Aaron Gordon off the court. This Klay Thompson one has been bumped. It actually was pulled from underdog. It was on my slip originally. And I did get that in on some prop bets. Thankfully, I kind of paused and placed those bets. So yeah, underdog is taking this one away. All in all, still a good one. And then we got three really good EV bets here, all with a 54% likelihood or not of hitting. If you guys don't want to include the NFL ones in because they don't take place tonight, I get it. That's fine. That's going to be all for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to give a like and subscribe to the channel. I do appreciate it. If you guys want access to the 9to5sports.com PrizePicks and Underdog cheat sheet, as well as the DraftKings NBA cheat sheet, that is available for just $10 a month. Thank you guys for watching. Let's have a good slate. And as always, let's keep cashing.